Hello. So, do you ever find that your life is like a gumboot as well? Fee Jamieson-Folland, the lifestyle liner, with an interesting thought. And I need to thank a friend of mine, Jane France, for this really cool analogy that she came up with, which is that life is like a gumboot, in that if there's something happening in your life that is really not ideal, and I'd forgotten what a gem this is, until I realised that this is the topic that I'm speaking with you about today, is that if something's really not ideal, what we can actually do in many cases is take off the gumboot and turn it upside down and let that, whatever it is, sometimes there's niggly little bits of grit or stone or like a little prickle or something like that, get rid of it, let it go. And there's so much power in that thought. There's so much value and wisdom in realizing that we're not a tree. We can move, or we can actually move away from something that might not be ideal, or even literally removing it from our gumboot, or from a shoe, whatever it might be that is a challenge. And it's a similar thing. It's like an analogy I think of here when it comes to our health is that when we were on our last stint in Bali, which seems like a long time ago now that we were there, but that was back in December 2019, which is funny, isn't it, when you think about, oh my gosh, that was over a year ago, is that I was finding I was eating a lot of raw cacao, and whilst, there are many health benefits, it's like anything. If we do too much of it, it can end up being a challenge. It's a bit like drinking water. It's great, although I've gotten into a pickle previously in my life where I got myself dehydrated on a really big training run that I did in an area where I forgot to take my water bottle. Anyway, got back really dehydrated and tried to drink enough water. Ended up diluting the really important micronutrients in my body, especially the ions, which help to govern important chemical balances that allow our muscles to contract and our heart to function, for example, properly, and ended up throwing that balance right out and needed to go to hospital. So we can end up having too much of a good thing. Anyway, that's what was happening for me. I noticed that my skin wasn't as good as it could be, and it was definitely starting to affect my digestion. So I quit that. And then now I tend to have raw cacao every 3 days, or something like every 3 or 5 days. So rather than having it constantly, it doesn't mean we have to completely cut it out. I had a period where I didn't have any at all, and then being able to gradually reintroduce it. So if that's been useful for you, please do share this resource with someone who, you never know, it could be useful for them. And ciao for now till I see you on this week's Alive with Fee.